taken a tremendous turnabout from last year. When we did the Thanksgiving Day game last year, watching them play compared to this year, it's like, it certainly seems to me that it would take more than a year to develop this type of playing in the players that they have. And I think the coaching staff has done a tremendous job at Wellesley, and I'm very impressed with them so far, to be honest with you.
Well, there's no question about it. We spoke to Andy earlier, and he mentioned some of the factors that he thought was instrumental in getting this whole program turned around, and we'll talk about it in a moment.
Kevin Reel in motion, and it looks like Needham has stopped them. Oh, no, they haven't. He just carried people into the end zone.
That was a fine second effort by Scott Pomfret once again.
I think that obviously some Needham ball players are a bit upset with that call.
Well, it appeared like they keyed on Pomfret as well, but yet that wasn't enough to stop him because it was his second effort. He was hit right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Getting back to the turnaround in Wellesley from last year, Wellesley was 0-9-1 at the end of the last season, Thanksgiving Day. And Andy Levin took a real close look at what he had and what he had coming back. And the first thing he decided, Gino, was that perhaps he ought to, not perhaps, he definitely would institute a weight training program. And so he got the kids in during the off season, and they were very, very faithful, especially Pomfret and Blackwood and McDonald and Hester and the key seniors who have been going through a difficult time their first couple of years. In addition to that, he also sent away and got a video of the Delaware wing T offense. He sat down over the months and studied it painstakingly, took extensive notes, and decided that this was the offense that he was going to run. He was not going to vary from it one iota. He was going to stick with what was in the playbook and nothing more. And I think it's been a tremendous benefit, and a tremendous amount of credit should go to Andy and the whole coaching staff for what they've done.
Okay, Matt Lucarelli will be kicking the ball. Of course, Matt's only a freshman. I just learned that he has 3 more years of football here at Wellesley. Ball gets down to about the 30-yard line, where it's taken by Damon Aronson. Dave tried to take it to the outside. He's brought down there by a number of Wellesley players.
Number 11, Aronson, running back.
Brought down by Kevin Reel. So Needham now will take possession on about the, looks to be like the 30-yard line, 35-yard line.
It'll be interesting to see if Needham stays right with its game plan of passing totally, just as Wellesley has decided to stay completely with its game plan of running, especially after the first series didn't work out too well for Wellesley.
Well, you always like to go back to what you do best, and I think that's where your team, offensively and defensively, has their most security, and you perform better when you feel good about what you're doing, if you feel that you can do that better.
Aronson and Abley set out to the right this time.
12, Ficcardi at quarterback for Needham.
Wellesley's in a 4-4 defense now. Ficcardi back to throw. Ooh. That ball is complete there to Jerry Sullivan. Brought down there by number 62, Mike Hester.
Well, good defensive call, because they expected Needham to throw on that down, and they were in the 4-4. So the strategy being won by Wellesley at this point as well.
The gentleman on coverage that time is Mike Hester. He's 6'1", he weighs about 220 pounds, and you can see as a linebacker he got out there on that flanker pretty well, I thought.
Call it the yard gain, 2nd and 9.
Aronson set to the left this time. Timeout on the field to change the ball.
A quick aside, I was talking to Ted Tripp, and Needham brought 5 brand new balls, and Wellesley intends to use 5 brand new balls as well during this inclement weather here today.
Aronson now split out to the left this time, 42 in motion. Flags are on the play. That could be holding wide open.
Nice play.
And it might be brought back. Tim Dardinsky, number 44, a sophomore.
Dardinsky, number 44, tackled by Leon Holt.
It'll be brought back because the motion man turned upfield too soon, unfortunately. But what a nice pass pattern being run by the Needham offense. Had their man wide open. When you get a guy open like that, that means that everybody did their job.
And a penalty against Needham.
Again, we still can't, or I can't figure out who 42 is, and I'm sorry about that. We'll see if we can attempt to find out at halftime who 42 is. We don't seem to have that on any information that we have.
5-yard penalty against the Rockets.
So a big setback for Needham there at nice play that was wide open. Dardinsky
brings up a 2nd down, 14 yards to go now for Needham.
Again, Damon Aronson comes set to the left this time, and Kevin Abley out to the right. Again, Wellesley still in that 4-man line, obviously anticipating Needham is going to be throwing the ball. Might have been a bit difficult to cover Dardinsky. He might have made a cut to the outside, and the coverage man might have slipped.
No, I think it was just a blown coverage from what I could see.
Abley in motion. Draw this time to number 14, Jerry Sullivan, and he picks up close to 13 yards on that play. 10 yards on that play. It looks like it's going to be a 3rd down and about 2 or 3.
That was a well-run draw play, and usually, a team that passes a lot, it's important that you run good draw plays because you're going to be called on at times to have to pick up yards on the ground, and they'll do it that way. And the thing that makes a good draw play is patience. That back doesn't move too soon, the quarterback doesn't give it to him too soon, so it shows. So it was well run.
The two running backs, of course, for Wellesley are sophomores, and they're 2 nice running backs.
What's this?
Looks like Wellesley stopped them on that play by number 62, Mike Hester, and number 53, Mike Haid.
62, one of the Wellesley tacklers.
I don't know if they're bringing it in for a measurement or not, Gino.
Looks like it, yeah. Might offer the Needham coaching staff a decision to make here as well. Counting down into the 2nd quarter, 5 minutes, you're at midfield. You want to try to hold on to that football, so if it becomes 4th down and inches, might see them go for it.
I can recall this situation many times where I want to go for it, and my assistant coaches say no way, so I don't know what Needham's going to do.
It'll bring up a 4th down and 1 yard to go.
Well,
for Needham.
When I was an assistant coach, I always said go for it because I had nothing to lose.
Bringing in the refrigerator, huh?
Yeah, that's Ken Bowers, number 99.
Are they going to give him the ball?
He was a fullback, actually, his freshman year. Actually, I coached these seniors. It was my last year of coaching, a freshman coach. And at that time, Ken was a fullback.
He's definitely in there. He's almost a whole house.
Number 44, Dardinsky, carrying for the Rockets.
Brought down by number 53, Mike Hay. We saw the Bowers slipped, and Dardinsky was over top of him and still held him up. He might have been able to pick that up had he not run into Bowers, who had slipped.
He slipped, right. He was trying to get going, and his feet went right out from under him.
It's kind of interesting to come off of the bench, as you see right there, to come off of the bench and not be familiar with the conditions of the field, I think would be a disadvantage. And Wellesley stops him.
Wellesley has held on to, will take over.
I think on a day like today, it's not the day to play conservative. The weather certainly isn't conservative, so you just kind of let it all hang out on Thanksgiving Day and hope for the best, and I think that's the case right there.
I thought it was a good decision. It's like I said, 5 minutes to go. You're at midfield, you want to pick up a few inches. If you get off on the mark real well off your offensive line and backs, chances are you can pick it up.
Needham has moved their linebackers up. That's well, they're of course are still in the 4-4. getting pretty sloppy in the center of that field there, as you just saw that Scott Pomfret didn't have too much traction, and no one really brought him down. He just kind of slipped.
That's a good point, George. It almost would require you to get to the outside there and try to get that ball in that left hash mark where you get some traction.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Leon Holt going left or going right on this play.
Ball on the Needham 42-yard line.
Spezzano split to the left, full backfield.
You go, Leon.
Leon takes the ball, picks up close to a first down.
Number 11, Aronson.
Getting on some drier ground.
24, Baker on the stop for Needham.
They're going to measure, see if how close Wellesley is to it if they have the first down.
Measure for the first down.
And they have it by the front of the ball.
Got it.
It is a first down for Wellesley. Line of scrimmage will be the Needham 32-yard line. First and 10 for the Red Raiders.
You know, we looked at the Pomfret, his running ability all year, but Leon Holt has had a tremendous first half already, and certainly Kevin Reel has had a good half at running the ball.
Well, he could be a nice counterpart for a back like Scott, you know, to have him go up the middle and have a guy with his ability to go to the outside.
Hand off the off tackle this time to Pomfret, and he's twists and turns, picks up about 8 more yards on the play.
41. Kevin Abley making the
You heard
stop
the
for
old
Needham.
saying, Mr. Inside, Mr. Outside. Well, that really is the way it goes because they complement one another when you have that kind of talent.
Second down and about 2 yards to go.
25-yard line. Second down and 3.
Spezzano split to the right this time, full backfield. The handoff that time will counterplay to number 35, Kevin Reel.
Kevin Reel, 35, carrying for Wellesley.
I think any of our viewers who are astute at the game and happen to see Natick Wellesley either on cable or in person would have seen that Kevin Reel and Leon Holt made 2 exceptionally fine plays in that particular ball game.
Ball on the 24-yard line.
Hand off to Pomfret this time. He's met by number 72, Andy Mendelson, on a good hit, and picks up a couple more yards after the play. I think after hearing about that game, John, I said, you know, how could Wellesley beat Natick? I think from viewing Natick, viewing Wellesley thus far in the first half, it's quite evident how they can beat Natick. They have a good ball club. Hand off this time to Pomfret. Looks like he's close.
Number 20.
Picks up about 8 yards. Again, Needham unable to stop Wellesley's running attack. And Wellesley takes a timeout.
69, Brian Sullivan.
Brought down again by 69, Brian Sullivan.
Gain of 9 yards on the play. Second down 1 for the Red Raiders.
I think when you go into a big game like this, and referring back to the Natick-Wellesley game, when you go into those games, I think the coaching staff, by and large, has a pretty good feeling on it as the underdog, that you can go in there and you can do a credible job, and if things go your way, you're going to win the ball game. I think one of the big differences this year in Wellesley, their whole season, and also especially the Natick-Wellesley game, was that the students themselves, the players who were out there every day, some of them out there for 3 years, they had a real, very, very, very strong feeling that going into the Natick game that they could, in fact, upset Natick. And this was a big change where, by and large, the coaches always have that feeling, I think, but sometimes the fellows who are playing for you don't have as strong a feeling as you do.
Well, I don't know if I've ever met a coach who never thought that he could go into any game and win it. And what the players have to do is actually have it happen once or twice so that they get the feeling and they realize it, then they can believe in it. And that's what's important about winning big games like that.
Hand off that time to number 10, Leon Holt. Brought down by number 69, Brian Sullivan, inside linebacker.
It's a first down. for Wellesley. First and goal.
When we were talking to Andy Levin, the head coach at Wellesley, in getting ready for this broadcast, he made that comment, you know, and we said, you know, what is the biggest game and so forth. I'll get back to that later.
Appears to be officials' timeout again.
The official trying to get some room in the end zone. The fans who are getting on the end line there. In anticipation of a pass, which I don't think we have to be concerned with or need them.
And off to Pomfret that time, and flagging a play, and brought down by number 72, Andy Mendelson, and a group of other ball players there from Needham, number 57, Stevie Melia. You know, speaking of Wellesley's upset, of course, Needham had a very big upset this year too against Framingham North, who was undefeated at that time. They were tied for first place in the Bay State League, and Needham managed to pull off a very big victory against Framingham North. And so both teams have experienced victories against good teams this year. And we at the beginning of the game, we felt that looking at the records and looking at what teams have done, that Wellesley had a bit of an edge in the game. And I think that's proven to be the point so far today, that Wellesley has been able to establish a running game and keep it going, and Needham has been unable to stop them, and they have to make an adjustment at halftime to stop the running game.
Well, there's no question if they couldn't have established a running game that they were going to be in trouble.
Yeah. Handoff that time to number 10 again, Leon Holt.
Carries for Wellesley.
Brought down here by number 51, Eddie McGovern.
A gain of about 6 yards on the play.
1 minute and 41 seconds left to play in the second quarter here. Another timeout. We have second down and about 6, it appears to be, for a Wellesley touchdown if they can get it in.
During this timeout, if I could get back to Gino's point about the kids have to experience some success. Well, that certainly is the case. I was talking to Andy about his season and so forth, and he said, well, we worked hard from last Thanksgiving getting ready as far as physical size is concerned. Then we put in the Delaware wing tee, and then we have 3 scrimmages preseason, and then it all comes down to that first ball game, and they get off to a very good start against a very good Brookline team, and like you had said, they did experience some success early, and I think that's held in good stead for them as the season has gone along.
Well, what else that does, John, is whatever the coaches are trying to, I shouldn't say sell, but whatever they're trying to teach them comes to fruition then when they do win, because then they start believing in everything that the coaches are saying, even though the coaches know if you do what I'm telling you, we'll do this. But they have to realize it, then they start having confidence in their coaching and in their teaching.
Leon Holt in motion, handoff to Pomfret that time. Appears to pick up about 3 yards on the play. Third down and about 2.
3 yards on the play. We'll call it the 2-yard line now. Third down, goal to go for Wellesley on the Needham 2-yard line.
1 minute and 24 seconds left to play. Wellesley appears to be going with a semi-huddle. Quarterback sneak. I don't think he
carries for Wellesley.
Picked up too much yardage on that.
No, he's just inching up to it.
We have a 4th down. Timeout Wellesley.
I guess I can let you know at this time about one of Wellesley's plans for this particular game, because there's no way we can get it over to Needham, I don't think. And that is that they had worked all week on the concept of going without a huddle. They had 9 audibles that they were ready to deal with if it was good weather and the footing was good. And I think that perhaps they're going to abandon it for today. But they did have this in their repertoire and were ready to use it if the time arose. And so far it hasn't come about, and I think it's primarily because of the poor footing conditions.
But if they did work on it, John, it may pay off right here, because if they're out of timeouts right now and they are unsuccessful on this play, they may have to go to an audible to get off a couple more plays with just a minute to go. So that kind of practice pays off you never know when the circumstance or the situation is going to arise. So it's nice to be prepared for it.
Well, we do have 4th down and about, looks to me like a half a yard, Gino. This certainly would be a very big boost to Needham if they stop them, and obviously a very big boost for Wellesley if they make it.
Touchdown.
And they go to Pomfret at time, and Pomfret carries it in. Again, going to their bread and butter man, Scott Pomfret, takes it over right tackle and scores a touchdown for Wellesley.
Replay.
You see a replay here of it.
Well, they just went right back to their basic play with the lead back blocking and the slant to Pomfret. And with the power that he has, he was about to pick up that yard.
Wellesley's going to attempt a kick, and the point after kicker is number 21, Tom Miller, and he's a senior.
And it's good.
Number 21, Tom Miller, kicks the point after.
I'd say he didn't make it by much, but I guess an inch is as good as a mile here. The first one he tried hit the goalpost, so I think that's a pretty good thing for him.
As long as it's up on a scoreboard, that's all.
So at 50 seconds left to play in the second quarter, it's Wellesley 21 and Needham 6. You know, looking at the personnel there on Wellesley's team, they have very few seniors. They must have, I would say, how many? 10? 5 seniors?
5 senior starters. 5 senior starters, and all the rest are juniors. They play approximately 6 or 7 of their players both ways. So they have a real fine nucleus coming back. Well, obviously, Leon Holt will be back, and Reel will be back, and Aaron Kelton, the quarterback, will be back. So they're in pretty good shape.
Ball is kicked off to about the 40-yard line there, where he's taken down. Mike Gary, number 36, is hit by a number of ball players, and 52 seconds left to play. This ball's on about the 39-yard line.
What do we do in a situation like this, Gino? Does Needham go after it all, or do they go in 21-6? What do you think?
Well, no, I think that they'll try a couple of long shots right away. Then, of course, depending on what they do on first and second down, will dictate what they do on the rest of the downs.
No, I think Needham has to go for the long bomb.
Well, they opened up a nice pattern, you know, and they might want to come right back to that pattern that was called back.
Ficcardi back to throw this time, looking for his deep man Aronson, and he's got Aronson,
Oh boy!
And it's a touchdown! Touchdown, Needham!
I guess that answers that question.
Well, we knew it.
But I tell you,
31 yard.
What an excellent play.
Damon Aronson did an outstanding job of getting free between 2 defenders. He might have even been guilty of a little push, but he got away with it. Let's watch on the replay. But nonetheless, he got in there and caught the ball. Right there.
Right between 2 defenders.
No doubt of Ficcardi's ability to throw the ball.
Well, right there, you know, the coach has to look at it and say, you know, we defended it, we had the guys in position, but yet it was a great individual play by a player.
Yeah.
And you have to acknowledge that.
It really was.
You really can't come down on the team or the players. Just he got outperformed by an individual player.
Now, of course, does Needham go for 2, or does Needham go for 1?
Whether I got that, take a look at it. Yeah.
Well, I would think they got to go for 2. You know, they got to get back into reach for you know, a possible touchdown, either tying or winning it. Should it get down to that towards the later stages of the game.
Last year they had a good field goal kicker, and certainly he was a factor. But this year, of course, under these conditions, that doesn't seem to be very feasible.
Well, it all depends on what kind of kicking talent you have. You know, that dictates too.
Sure.
And then you take into consideration the conditions, and along with that you make your decisions. The fact that you missed on your first attempt, You want to try to get that back. The only way you can is by a 2-point here. So I would expect that they'll try for 2.
It looks like they put it on the left hash, and I would envision probably a roll out right, and then maybe coming back to the backside with Aaron, number 11 from Needham.
Ficcardi rolling out to the right, as we just anticipated.
He's in trouble.
Incomplete. Good defensive play by Wellesley there.
Broken up by Leon Holt, number 10 for Wellesley.
Well, they try to utilize all the room they could to see if they could make something open up there. And good defense by Wellesley on that play.
41 seconds left. 13 seconds from the last time. Here you see the replay. Ficcardi rolling out again to the right. As you said, Gino, they defended him well. He really had no one to go, utilizing all the field that he could.
Plus, they had him backing up, which is a difficult position to be in when you're trying to throw the ball into the end zone. So it was pressure plus coverage and success for the Wellesley defense.
Now the chess game changes and the ball goes into Wellesley's court, and we'll see what their particular strategy is going to be. Are they going to be content going in 21-12, or are they going to try a little bit of the pass themselves? It'll be interesting to see how that develops.
Well, I think a lot depends on field position, John, you know, whether they're able to get it back to midfield or beyond, and then again if they're nailed back there at the 30 or 40. So that would have a lot to do with what they do with the ball when they get it. But it's interesting how a passing team can strike so quickly and get 7 points, whereas a running team like Wellesley, you know, how you have to work and grind out to get those 7 points.
I was going to say I would expect an onside kick from this. And Wellesley gets the ball.
And the attempted onside kick.
That could have certainly been a little difficult to handle with the ground conditions if the ball starts to move around. And
good decision.
Jeff Lloyd,
now that I think about it, very good decision.
Are we going to call that a good decision at this point, or are we going to wait and see what happens?
No, I mean, you're trying to get back into the game, and with the conditions being what they are, you get that ball bobbling around a little bit. He may have, I think he caught Wellesley a little surprised because they were lined up for a deep kickoff. So anytime you pull something that comes off as a surprise, you got a better chance at making it work.
41 seconds left. Number 35, Kevin Reel.
Fumble.
Carrying for Wellesley.
The official on top of the ball calls it Wellesley
Gain of
ball.
about 3 yards on the play.
I got to think, John and Joe as well, that Needham was thinking that should they not recover the onside kick, that with just less than a minute to go, that they weren't too concerned about Wellesley trying to go to the air, because they're going to stay on the ground and they just have to stop them on the ground.
Yeah, of course, Wellesley still does have a 9-point lead, so you know, they have been in command of the first half, and you know, I think it was a good decision on Coach Johan's part to do that. Second down. I don't know if Wellesley called a timeout or if Needham called.
No, Wellesley called.
Is this their last timeout? I don't know.
I thought it was back there at the last series.
So did I.
Second down.
Lozano split way out to the left. Reel in motion. He's going to throw the ball. And it's up in the air, and he does have a man open. And Damon Aronson, of course, was there, and two Wellesley ball players were there, and no one can come down with the ball.
Number 86. Brings up a third down now for Wellesley.
29 seconds left.
From the Needham 47-yard line.
The middle of the field is really starting to get very messy. That's where most of the action has taken place. It just seems to be getting worse.
They have a very nice inside trap or inside reverse. It'll be interesting to see if they try that one.
Lozano split out to the left this time again. And he is going to put the ball up in the air again.
Oh, God.
Incomplete pass by Kelton.
Kind of looks like the ball's a little bit slippery, I would guess.
And it'll be fourth down for the
Not only the ball, but the running a fourth down. Of course, this gives 23 seconds left to play. It is a fourth down. Needham still might have the chance to get the ball up in the air one more time.
I must say at this point also that the kicking game is not one of Wellesley's strong suits, believe me.
Something could happen here with the ball.
Number 12 back in punt formation.
Gets a pretty good kickoff.
Excellent.
And it looks like the ball is down to about the 7 or 8 yard line. 11 seconds left.
Needham 7 or 8 yard line.
I like the way Needham is playing as far as this strategy here. They went in and tried to block it. And I think that's a good move at this stage, at this point of the game. Put the pressure on the kicker. You might be able to deflect it. Even if you rough them up and they maintain possession, you're not going to be hurt that much with time running out here in the second half, or first half.
Certainly with under 20 seconds left to play here in the first half.
Now, if we could argue about who has the advantage on a wet field, we could also argue about do we put pressure on the quarterback, or do we keep everybody back and make sure no one gets behind you? Real tough call, I think.
I don't think he would throw it deep on this play. It was easy. He lined up. He got 2 flankers out there. He's going to the well again. Over the
That was a dangerous pass.
Yeah.
Very dangerous pass in that area, down in the...
That wouldn't be the type of pass I would think that he would throw. Might as well go for all the marbles again.
Really?
They intercepted, let him have it down at the 50 or whatever.
By that time, certainly the clock would just about be done anyway. 8 seconds left here to play. Got a wide slot left this time. There he goes, long again. Great catch there by number 41, and he could go. He could go. He could go. I can't believe it.
No flags.
41.
And there's no flags with no time left.
Kevin Abley.
Wow.
Kevin Abley, number 41.
Well, I'm sitting right here, and I don't believe it. I'll tell you that right now.
93
You'll catch this one on the replay.
I guess everyone on the Wellesley bench here was hoping that he was out of bounds, but he went up and outfought the defenders again. Right here, you're going to get a good look at it. Right here in the middle of your screen. Look at that. And then a good block here by...
number 11, Damon Aronson.
David Aronson, just a shield block, you know. You don't want to throw one and be called for clipping.
That's unbelievable. 2 touchdowns within 53 seconds. Of course, there's no time left on the clock at all. There were, I think, 11 seconds when he put that ball in the air.
No time on the clock. Hey, that's pretty exciting.
Looks like they're definitely going to go for 2 again, and I wouldn't be surprised if they ran basically the same play they ran last time.
Long touchdown.
It certainly has been... if you're looking for excitement in a football game, and in 2 different types of football teams, this has been it.
From what I saw in their last series, that first pass that they threw over the middle, John, you know, what they want to do is try to hit something quick before a defense has a chance to react to what the pattern is. And one way of doing that is to just hit a tight end right over the middle on a quick lookie or something like that.
Well, not only that, you notice that number 22 is a clean uniform, and he just might be a streaker. He might, you know, be somebody who could catch that ball and go all the way, and he might have been thinking about that. Plus, he's got exceptionally good size. You see how tall he is, and that's exactly what you want in a situation like that. Get that ball up, and for the most part, I would say, generally speaking, the defensive secondary people are a bit shorter than those big tight ends.
22,
but
John Jacobs.
It would be to hit him quick, is what they would be looking at. Boy, he could have, too.
Ficcardi rolling out. Nope. It's not there this time.
No good.
All right, that's okay.
And at the end of the first half, the score, Wellesley 21, Needham 18.
As you just heard, the score is Wellesley 21, Needham 18.
Freshman stand to the left of the main grandstand here at Honeywell Field.
Well, as we said at the end of the first half, it's Wellesley 21 and Needham 18. Gino, we were sitting there in awe for the last minute of the game. What are your reactions to the two big touchdown plays that Needham pulled off?
Well, I think that's the interesting part of the game. You got one team that is working the whole first half to score 3 touchdowns, grinding it out on the ground, ball possession, controlling the ball, the line of scrimmage, grinding it out, showing strength, power, all the things you want to see in a football game. They punch out 3 nice touchdowns, seem to be in command of the game, and yet you got 2 strong individual talents that take over and come up with 2 touchdowns, and this is really what the game is all about. A good individual performance can sometimes offset a long drive like that, and it was it's interesting to watch those kind of plays develop, especially on a high school level.
Yeah, certainly a boost to Wellesley. We would have gone in with a 21-6 score, and now I think that Needham has gone in with a little bit more momentum, that they can make some adjustments within their defense. They might be in a much better position in the second half.
Oh, there's no question that the momentum now has swung to Needham at halftime while they're sitting in the locker room, but they're going to have to come out in the second half and to maintain it. Now, Wellesley's job is to take that away from them, and the way they should do that is what they did in the first half, just punch it out, grind it out, and not give up those kind of plays to Needham.
Yeah, John, we don't want to leave you out, because from a coaching point of view, what does Andy have to do now with his ball club as far as getting them settled down and not taking the life out of them to come back in this second half? Of course, they are still winning, of course, but they're in a much different position.
I think that I can put myself in the shoes of both of the coaches. I think in the case of Andy, he has to explain to his team that we call those a couple of bad breaks. They have not been fatal. As Gino pointed out, Wellesley is in fact still ahead. They have controlled the ball when they've been on offense. And Andy will explain that it's a couple of fluke plays and a couple of real fine, exceptionally fine plays, I might say, by a couple of individuals who are on the receiving end of those passes. Wellesley's defense, again, as Gino pointed out earlier, Wellesley's defense was right there. They were putting some pressure on the quarterback, and the 2 defensive secondary men were in position. They just missed the ball, and the fellow from Needham went up, and both of them and made real fine catches. In the case of Needham, he's going into the locker room as happy as can be, and he's saying it was no fluke at all, that we can get this team. They have difficulty in the defensive secondary. If you linemen can get down there and do the blocking that you've been blocking and give our quarterback a little more time, I think we're going to be in good shape. And I think defensively, he's saying, we have to get after Pomfret, we have to get after Reel, we have to get after Leon Holt. They can't pass at all. They may move their defense up a little bit, so he thinks he's in pretty good shape. So I think from a coach's point of view, they're both relatively happy, but both relatively sad as well, and I think both teams are up. And let's face it, fellas, it's anybody's ball game at this point.
Well, it's certainly going to prove to be a very interesting second half. And with that, we'll take you back down to the field now and be able to enjoy the Needham High School and the Wellesley High School bands.
There's an important road in Massachusetts, a long and difficult road, and nobody wants to travel it alone. In fact, many people can't travel it at all without your help. They're cancer patients who need somebody to drive them to and from treatments. If you have a car and can spare a few hours each month, please call this number and volunteer to drive somebody along the road to recovery. There is a road. For many, there is a cure.
With me is head coach Roy Johan from the Needham High School Rockets. Roy, last year at this time, you were going into Thanksgiving Day game a heavy favorite. Of course, I don't know if it's the same conditions this year, but maybe you can give us a little reflection on how the team did so far this year prior to the Wellesley game.
Well, we got off to what can only be described as a poor start. We were 0-3 after our first 3 games. The remaining 6, we've been 4-2, and have done better as the years progressed. Obviously, a year makes a big difference for both of us. Wellesley's much better this year, and we're probably not as good. So we're ready. I think we've improved steadily since those first 3 games, and so I think we'll give them a good game.
Roy, maybe you could give us some idea of how you expect to do the Thanksgiving Day game against Wellesley and what your plan of attack might be.
Well, this year, unlike last year, we're a multiple pro set type of team. That is, we pass the ball an awful lot more. Last year, as you remember, we were a ball control power team. So what we have to do this year is to pass the ball successfully. We also prefer passing the ball deep than to the short underneath type pass. So that's what we have to do to win. Obviously, in order for our passing game to be effective, we also have to run the ball some, and so we'll try to do that also.
Yeah, I know that the team definitely has improved tremendously from the beginning of the season until now. I do think it's a different ball club, and I know the kids have worked very hard. Are there any individuals on the team who you feel have really added to the performance, especially in the second half of the season, that maybe some people aren't noticing as much as they should?
Well, I think Frank Ficcardi, if it wasn't for the young man Matt Rogers at Walpole, I think Frank would probably be recognized as one of maybe the best quarterback in the league. He's very quick, he's got an extremely strong arm, and he throws the ball deep very, very well. He has nine touchdown passes, which for a team that hasn't scored as much as we should is excellent. Damon, of course, is his favorite receiver, and he's done an excellent job for us throughout the year, both offensively and defensively. I suppose, though, if you're going to pick out a person who probably has not been recognized but who has contributed an awful lot, I'd have to say Tim Dardinsky is that individual. Since he started at the latter stages of the Braintree game is when really we've started to turn it around. Both Tim and Jerry Sullivan, both sophomores, both very hard-working young players that have really contributed a lot. We've had good performances from the interior line. Steve Milia's been excellent. Probably doesn't receive the recognition he deserves. Danny Pitts. Kyle Reicher and Andy Mendelson on defense. We've had excellent performances, but once again, when you lose early, people kind of lose track of you and forget who you are.
Right. Well, anyway, Roy, we wish you the best of luck, and we hope that you can bring home a victory for Needham this year. And you have everyone here behind you.
Thanks,
best
Joe.
of luck, Roy.
Thank you, Joe. You've been a boyhood idol of mine, and now it's my opportunity to meet you.
We're back for the second half kickoff. I'm Joe Dudish, and with me is Gino Capoletti and John McDermott. Wellesley winning by a score of 21-18. Needham will receive. They had choice on the flip of the coin, and so Wellesley will kick off to Needham. It has not stopped raining or freezing rain, I should say. It's continued to come down through the halftime show, and it looks like it's going to be this type of weather for the rest of the day. Ball is taken there by number 36 for Needham, Mike Gary. As I look back, Mike has gotten every kickoff, and they take the ball up to about almost to the 40-yard line, about 35-yard line.
I just talked to Bill Tracy, one of the assistant coaches from Wellesley, and asked him what went on at halftime. He said it was fairly upbeat. And he said that they're going to have to put a lot more pressure on the quarterback, keep the coverage the way it is, and just don't make those mistakes down deep.
Damon Aronson again split to the left. Kevin Abley split to the right. Ficcardi is the quarterback. Ficcardi drops back to pass again. Oh, and he's brought down there, and it appeared to be a face masking. Number 65, left tackle, David Blackwood, who made the tackle on Frank Ficcardi, and Ficcardi appears to be injured. That would certainly hurt Needham tremendously.
There didn't seem to be any doubt in my mind, Joe, that there was a face mask, and I'm looking at the, I just happened to be looking at both officials. The one out on the right, he was looking downfield, and then Bobby in behind the official that's responsible for that deep, he was really screened from it, so he didn't see it either.
Well, Coach Roy Johan, the head coach from Needham, out there questioning why there was no face mask call on, and it certainly appeared to be an accident. I think he probably might have poked Frank in the eye there, but he does have to leave for a play.
Number 12, ladies and gentlemen, Frank Ficcardi for Needham.
Damon Aronson, the left end, was running a post pattern over the middle. And had Ficcardi the proper time, I'm sure he would have found him over the middle. He was wide open. A pattern I'm sure we'll see again.
Going out of the game, and number 14, Jerry Sullivan, in a quarterback
finding himself that open will always come back until the team or the quarterback that he was wide open and wait for the defense to make the proper adjustment.
20 yards to go now for the Needham Rockets from their own 25-yard
Jerry
line.
Sullivan now calling signals. Just about makes the handoff.
Handoff to 44.
Handoff to Tim Dardinsky, number 44. He's brought down there by number 74, Steve Massini.
Massini, one of the tacklers for Wellesley.
Looking at Wellesley, some of the statistics regarding the running attack in the first half, Comfort had 16 carries for 111 yards. Holt had 8 carries for 62, and Reel had 7 carries for 21 yards. Needham, of course, I think only had 1 first down on the one draw play that they ran, but all their points came from the air.
Oops.
Again, it's tripped up there.
This is a critical series, Joe and John, as you can see, you know, with the momentum being on Needham's side, going in at halftime and coming out, it was an important series for them to retain that momentum. And the only thing that would allow them to give it up would be a performance like that with this series, and it was a dismal performance, aided by the loss of their starting quarterback. But now Wellesley has a great opportunity for a good field position and just take over control of the game again.
Dave
Spazano from Wellesley, number 23, and Leon Hart, number 10, are back deep for Wellesley.
Pretty decent punt by Ficcardi. There's a penalty flag is down.
Come on, David.
And it's starting to get very treacherous out there.
For Wellesley.
69 and 63.
69, Brian Sullivan. 63, Mike Conroy on the stop for Needham.
We have a flag on the play.
Flag down on the play.
Could be that a man left.
Back at the line of scrimmage, there's a flag down.
The field.
I don't know if it was roughing the kicker. No. The signal was like an illegal motion from the defense, but I'm not sure what that would mean. Well, nonetheless, we talked about this series being important. Now, if Needham is able to keep the ball, that means that they have another chance to try to do something with it and maintain the momentum that they had at halftime.
$15-yarder. Still won't get it.
We got a 15-yard penalty against Wellesley.
It's a first down.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
A personal foul against Wellesley.
Why is it a first down, I wonder?
Automatic first down goes with the personal foul.
First down.
So this
So
keeps
it is
Needham alive.
ball.
Gives them another chance with this series that is important.
36-yard line.
He has Abley wide open.
Same guy.
And that is number 41.
Kevin
taking
Abley
the
there, number
completed
41,
pass
was in the flat,
Ficcardi.
wide open.
Well, now this is getting very interesting.
Kevin
Because
Abley,
that didn't require any great individual performance. The guy was wide open, so what they talked about as far as coverage, and what Wellesley had in the first half was good coverage, but they got outbeat by individual performers. Here's a question now where the receiver open and the passer able to get that ball right into his hands. We might have a ball game on our hands here yet, even though it looks like Wellesley is in control of the line of scrimmage.
Wide slot set to the right this time. Again, Abley and Aronson. Ficcardi drops back to pass. Got a man wide across the middle. Oh, almost intercepted. There looks to me like a strong escape to safety. Leon
headed for Abramson.
I think on a day like today, the advantage is to the wide receivers that are going out. The defense is retreating, moving back towards the goal line, trying to prevent the long touchdown pass. And at the same time, when they do that, they're not close enough to intercept or knock the ball down. And if that ball continues to be thrown accurately, I think Wellesley could be in some trouble here.
Well, that might be the case because, of course, the offensive receiver doesn't know the pattern.
Now for the Rockets.
Defensive player has no idea of the pattern.
36-yard line.
Watch Aronson out here on the left flank this time. I got a feeling like he wants to go to. I got a draw play.
Number 14, Jerry Sullivan taking the ball for Needham. Loss on the play.
About 3 yards, 2 to 3 yards.
Back to the 39-yard line. Bring a 3rd down and 13 now for the Rockets from the Wellesley 39.
Again, Kevin Abley and Damon Aronson split out to the right this time, the wide slot. Aronson wide open across the middle.
Aronson, number 11.
First down.
Taking the pass from Ficcardi.
Well, he's been in the middle for this whole series and has been open. It was just a matter of time as to when Ficcardi was going to go to him in there.
I think it should be credited that Ficcardi's getting time to throw the ball, and obviously his offensive line blocked very well.
First and 10 for the Needham Rockets.
As John said before, Wellesley has to put up a much better pass rush in order to take away the effectiveness, because if the runners are getting in the open.
I think they're going to have to blitz those 2 linebackers. I see Mike Hayden, here he comes.
Hand off to Dardinsky.
44 carrying for the Rockets.
I think if he doesn't start blitzing or shooting one of his linebackers, either Michael Hayde or Mike Hester, and just sit back there, I think they're going to be in a little bit of trouble here. I think they ought to go right after him, and if they're going to complete something, make him complete it quick and make it a little bit shorter than what he's been able to do up to this point. But at least get some pressure on that guy. Otherwise, it isn't going to work for Wellesley defensively, I don't believe.
Well, another thing that's interesting statistically is that 80% of their touchdowns of Needham passing touchdown came outside the 20-yard line. Once they get inside the 20-yard line, they're really not as dangerous as they are outside of the 20-yard line. Frankie Ficcardi's got his man, and it's intercepted.
Leon Holt.
Intercepted there by Leon Holt.
Intercepted the ball in the end zone. Leon Holt, number 10. Intercepting for the touchback for Wellesley.
Leon is a junior, and he's the one who plays free safety, and the quarterback dropped back and looked all the way. He looked over to his left, and Leon was right there to make the interception.
20.
We have 6 minutes and 48 seconds in the 3rd quarter left.
Intercepting the pass.
Well, when you throw a cross field like that, that enables the defense time to react and get to the ball, and you had 2 receivers in the same area as well, so you had a little coverage over there, and well played defensively. But the cross field passes like that do require a bullet type pass, and you have to have the guy open.
Handoff that time to Pomfret, number 20.
Pomfret, number 20, carrying for Wellesley.
Picks up about 2 or 3 yards on a play, brought down by 69, Brian Sullivan.
69, Brian Sullivan, one of the Needham tacklers.
I see number 71, Chris Muzzy, coming over on a trap in that particular play, so he evidently does have some pretty good footing for himself out there.
For the Red Raiders on the 24-yard line.
Needham running out of a 4-4. Wide slot left. Man in motion, Leon Holt. And he's met there by Brian Sullivan, but
flags on the play.
First indication is that number 86, Paul McDonald, might have been had some movement from him.
5 yards.
You look at the first series that the Wellesley had the ball, that they were moving the ball, and I believe they had 2 or 3 penalties that series, and that kind of set them back for that first time they had the ball. Again, they're starting out with some penalties that certainly aren't going to help their cause.
Second down now and 11 yards to go for Wellesley from their own 19-yard
Same formation
line.
this time again. Pisano split out to the left. Holt in motion. Handoff that time to Kevin Rio. And it looks to me like Kevin might have picked up, I'd say, about 8 yards on the play, 7 yards on the play.
On threat number 20.
Well, it would appear to me like this is what Coach Andy Levin would like to accomplish in this drive, and maybe eat up a lot of time in this quarter, is to put on a good sustained drive, using his 3 strong running backs, alternating them, and just keep peppering the Needham defense and try to march down and get a score, using up as much time as possible.
7-yard line.
Inside trap.
Yeah.
Brought down by
Well, now
number
you're going-
69. Brian Sullivan is right there. Leon Holt coming across.
This is an inside trap that Wellesley has run successfully all year. I'm looking at the field, and I may be in the minority here, but I think because it's getting a little bit colder and because this isn't rain, I think the field may become just a little bit frozen, a little bit crisper, and the footing may, in fact, get a little bit better as we go along.
Aaron Kelton, number 12, back in kick formation.
4th down. Gets off a good punt. Aronson picks it up.
Aronson, number 11.
He steps out of bounds there. It looks to be about the, hard to tell, I'd say about the 30-yard line. And from, I don't even see the markers anymore. I can't tell where we're at.
Well, the first series that Wellesley had the ball in the second half was similar to the first series that they had when the game first started. And it'll be interesting to see if they can continue that pattern and maybe improve as the second half continues.
I think that's absolutely true, John. In fact, I believe they started somewhere around the 30-yard line that first series. Needham did.
Well, the only thing I see from this vantage point is the lead that Wellesley has is really a precarious one, because Needham's the type of team that can wipe it out in one play. And I think it's important now that Wellesley get back into their game of grinding it, running it, and picking up first downs.
Kevin Abley in motion. Ficcardi drops back. Looks like a center screen.
Well developed.
He's got a well-developed screen. He's got a lot of opening over there. Number 14, Jerry Sullivan. He takes that ball up to about the 50-yard line.
It's real interesting. We're talking about the blitzing linebacker, and that's exactly what happened. Michael Hester, who was playing the left linebacker, he blitzed on the play, and the other linebacker, Michael Hayes, he dropped back and didn't pick up the screen quick enough. You can see them blitzing on this one, and it's very, very well executed. The screen and the draw have to be a part of their offense when they're a running team, because if they're not, everybody knows what's going to happen.
I don't know if that's the 50 or the 45-yard line. It looks to me like the 45. Again, Abley's in motion. Ficcardi having a lot of time. Oh.
Incomplete pass.
Trying to make the catch there. Kevin Abley might have slipped off Ficcardi's hand.
41.
Well, it was underthrown, but he very wisely tried to cut back underneath, and I almost made the reception. So a good bit of receiving by...
Second down 10 now for the Rockets. Running.
It was also interesting to see that he was covered by David Sposano, and David couldn't put on the brakes quite quick enough, as the Needham end was able to do that.
Wide slot right. Again, Abley and Aronson to the right. Two main receivers for Ficcardi.
No one appreciates the way Mom takes care of everyone until Mom gets sick.
What do we do now? Mom always...
can't say enough about Damon Aronson, though. He was cutting across the middle. He was open, the ball was overthrown, and yet he did what every good receiver will do. Once that interception is made, he will get back into play and prevent that from being a long run back. Make the tackle.
So Wellesley takes over. 3 minutes and 57 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Mazzano split to the right this time. Leon Holt in motion to the right. And Pomfret there is met head on. It looks to me like Needham might have been doing some adjustments defensively. You know, it's early in the third quarter. Well, not really anymore, but it's getting to a point where Wellesley has only had the ball once, but they have been able to put some pressure at the line of scrimmage and control a little bit better that line of scrimmage than they did the first half.
Well, what John said earlier is the way it is designed in the Delaware wing, that everybody has the same blocking assignment almost on every play. Certainly the defense is going to start to react to that.
Kelton, number 12, keeps and carries.
Third down and about 4-yard pickup on that play.
Pickup of about 4 yards on the play.